Hello, YouTube. Hi. All right, so give you guys a few minutes to kind of have a couple people sign on. And while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hold on just a second because this thing is on this. Sorry, guys. There. Hi. Get you guys back up. Hello. All right, so I'm working on a lot of things. So behind me there are costumes and t-shirt designs and stuff like that for Halloween and stuff. That's the Peaches skirt, like the hoop skirt that's going to come with the Peaches costume that we're working on. Let me go ahead and find it and then put it on the link to see if I can get some more people on. Love to have conversations while we're doing this. So let's see here. Go on Facebook. Groups, I think. Yes, groups. I can put it on my site. So we are making the Adam tote. So let's see here. We're going to be making the Adam tote by KM Designs Pattern Co. And so I'm super excited about that. This is the one we're going to be making for the workshop with Kassiah. Crossbody bag by KM. Okay, guys. Thank you for sticking with me for a second there. I'm gonna put it on my page too, so in case anybody who wants to watch me on my YouTube page, on my Facebook. So I've already done a lot of the prep work. So I've already put my name tag, my snap hooks, everything's pretty much already done. I've got pre-cut everything that I could, taped everything that I could so we can make this bag as quickly as possible. Body bag by. Perfect. Okay, so there's that, and then I can go back to this. So I can. All right, so I've got the live chat on as well, right here to my left. So if you guys want to put any comments or questions or anything like that, you can do it right over here. I'll be looking over there. I'm going to scroll you guys down real faster in just a second. I just wanted to show you what it looks like. So this is a really cute crossbody bag. I'm going to be making this one a little bit more masculine because this is obviously very girly. And we're doing the piping. The piping, we're not quite sure if we're going to do that for the workshop yet. I think we're going to do it around the flap and or just the body pieces, depending on how thick it's going to get. So we are going to work on that. I've got my instructions printed out. Okay. All right. So get started. All right, so first thing you're going to do, there's a lot of prep. There's a few things that you want to do for prep. So on page number 10, page 9 and 10 are a lot of the prep works of what things to do if you're making your own piping, how to make your own piping. She even has a link to a video on how to make piping on there, so that's great. So if you haven't made piping before, she shows you that as well and gives you a link to it. And then I'm just bought pre-made piping from Amazon. It's just a regular cotton piping, and it's going to go really well with my accent colors here. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so we're going to get started with page number 11. Page 11 tells you how to put the piping on to the flap, what markings you need to have on your bag pattern pieces. I've already got that all marked out. Like I said, I've done a lot of that stuff off camera, so that way you guys aren't watching me do a lot of that stuff that I can't even give measurements out for. Hey, thank you. Yes, you should see the bag I made yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, I put it up on Instagram yesterday on my own Instagram. My son loves it. It's amazing. All right, so flap. I'm gonna grab my flap piece, put everything else to the side. All right, so I'm gonna have directions here off to the side. Hopefully you guys can be able to. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing. Sorry guys, I'm just okay. Is that pretty good? Okay, so you guys can see what I'm doing and see here. Okay, good. Okay, so here's my piping. And with the piping here, what I like to do is with pre-made piping, I like to pull it apart a little bit and then cut off some of the sorry guys, totally forgot that I put my scissors in the other room. It wouldn't be alive with me if I didn't do something like this. Sorry about that. Okay, I got my scissors. If you hear kids, we have camps going on right now, so our kiddos are in the other room. You're intimidated by piping? It's not so bad, I promise. So I just cut a little piece off, especially when it's pre-made. It's super easy. And once I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and place it right here. I don't like to do this whole veering off thing just yet. I like to start stitching it down first, and then I do the veering off thing, just so that I can have a little bit more control of just putting the piping down first. So what I'm doing when I'm doing my piping is you don't want to stretch it too much, but you just want to make sure it's nice and taut. I'm lining it up to the edge of the fabric, and I'm going in at like 1/8 of an inch around the edge. Okay, so right here when you start getting into your curves, this one's actually bending really nicely because I guess it's made on the bias, so I'm not having to snip into that curve, which is actually really cool. When I get back to a straight part, put it straight again. Okay. When I'm going on my curve, I like to just kind of like put my fingers down and just hold it. Good morning, Miss Tanya. And then go ahead and go like that. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Joni. Okay, and then just go like that. And again, I'm going to stop right here where my mark is for it to stop. And I'm going to do the same thing I did over on this side what I did at the beginning where I took off the piping from in there, I'm going to do the same thing here. So I'm just going to open it up, peel it open. You got a seam ripper, anything like that, it's okay. These are just temporary stitches that you can definitely undo the piping, the stitching, just if you need to get exposure to that piping. So I'm going to go right to there where it stops, where my mark is, and then clip it. So I have two marks here. One is where she had told you to stop sewing, and then my other mark is where I know that I have to like completely veer it off at a 45 or close to a 45-degree angle. Just kind of push it off a little bit. You don't need a back stitch. I just did that just out of habit. But I'll show you guys what that looks like. So right here, you see how I veered off? If you had it that it just stopped right here, it kind of looks funny and then it may go into the seams. So that whole veering off, what kind of panel is this? This is the panel that we have in our creators box, inspiration creator box that we're coming out with in August. The end of August, we're going to have these panels, vinyls, and coordinates to go with this, and it's something that Tori and I have collaborated on. Tori with Seems Legit. So I was like, that would be perfect. Yeah. And we've got direct to fabric transfers as well. So in case you want to make your own t-shirt or hoodie or anything like that, you can definitely do it. So it does not have to only be bag making. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and veer that off right there. I actually like to come towards me, so I'm gonna turn this around. You know, it feels kind of weird doing it this way, but at the same time it doesn't, because it makes it feel more natural. It's kind of like darts. Yes, the Adam bag. If you have the pattern but you've never made it, it's super easy. This bag comes together really fast, and it looks really nice when you put it all together. I mean, it really does. Okay, so like I said, I already went ahead and did all of my prep work as much as I can possibly think of to do. So there's that. Let me pull you guys up just a little bit so you guys can see a little bit more of what I'm doing on my lap. There. Hopefully that works. So you guys can see when I go like this. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. So that's the panel. So that's page number 11. Page number 12 is the flap assembly. Flap assembly. So I'm going to get the other piece of my, and on the pattern piece, I'm just trying to make sure there's no, there's a little dot where you can go ahead and put that. I've already put my interfacing, my Decoville heavy, put everything on and done. It's midnight there. I was up to at least midnight yesterday. Okay, so what I like to do, because I've already done my piping, is I like to sew from this side so I can see where my seam is. So that's another tip. You want to see where you've already sewn. So always flip it so that it's so you can see the stitches. So stitch side up. And everything up. I'm clipping for you guys, but most of the times I don't really clip. I really try to do better about doing things, but I'm just gonna be honest, sometimes I don't. Okay. Good habits though, guys. Good habits. Trying to make sure I catch all of my lining pieces into this. So you're doing pretty sides touching here. The magnet placement is great because it doesn't interfere with it already being they're singing or doing something in there. it doesn't interfere with it. So that's what I like. Okay. This side up, joining stitch. For me, that's 3.5. Okay, go ahead and back stitch. And you're going to do a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, or as close as you can to that piping without going through the piping. I don't like that curve. I don't like the way that curve came out. There we go. So if you don't like it, just go back on the road. That's what I say. Go back on the road. Hello, guys. How are you doing? Can you make this on a mess? Oh, definitely. Definitely can make this bag on a domestic. So here's the tip about domestics. It's all about the materials you use with domestics. So if you're using a waterproof canvas or a wax canvas, you know, very intermediately interfaced cotton, Fulton cotton, you can definitely do this on a domestic. The only reason I'm doing it on this machine is because this is where I'm pretty much set up with all my lights and everything, and I've got campers in the other room. So campers are great. They're amazing. We love them. So see, I can kind of see where I kind of like wrote up right next to that piping. Oh yeah, so it's nice and tight. So right here is a little loose. I can feel where it's a little loose right there. So I'm going to come back in and sew right in there, just because I can see that it's a little loose right there. Coming a little closer. Oh yeah. This is a bound bag. This bag is made with binding. Yeah, I clip to start mostly. All right, so I'm just going to put my hand in here, make sure I can feel my piping everywhere. I don't feel anything that doesn't. All right, that looks pretty good. It feels pretty good. Oh yeah. So now I'm going to get my pinking shears and pink around the curves. Or as my friend Tori likes to say, zigzag scissors. I like zigzags. It's fun to say, like she says. It's fun to say. Okay, and then trim down the sides and the bottom. Okay, so let's turn this right side out. So this one had the stabilizer being put in and then basted. I fused my interfacing onto mine because it's Decoville heavy. I just fused it. Wait a second, I'm trying to find my little turner. I used it last week with my son's stuff. Here it is. I'm sorry, not last week, this week. I love my little turner. Really push out that seam. It really helps lay nice. Oh yeah. Okay. You need to hurry and pick your colors. Yeah. So so for the workshop we have this one, right? So it's pretty cool, right? And then we have so much of this one. We've got this print and this print. So I really think this one will probably look nice. Okay, so there we go. It feels very nice. I like it. I could have gotten a little closer down here, so I'm actually I can see down here where it's a little gappy. I'm going to turn it right side out and get a little closer to that piping at the bottom. Those are the types of things you don't really know until you've pushed out that seam, whether it's gotten really close or not. Yeah, I can feel it. Now, if you had a zipper foot, you can really get close to it. I was just being a little lazy and I didn't want to change up my foot. This is an 1/8 inch foot, so it's a narrow foot, narrow Teflon foot. But you see how I went in there and you see that double line, it's closer? Just that little bit makes a huge difference. Sorry guys, she's great. I love that Aussie accent. You know what the funny part is she's like, I don't even know I have an accent, she says. Well, I guess it's kind of like me too. It's like sometimes when I get going, it's like, is that a Southern accent? Or did you just say that with like a Southern accent? And I was like, I don't know. Because I have lived here in North Carolina for close to 20 years now. So you're bound to get some type of an accent. Okay, that's so much better. Yeah, you see that's so much better. Okay, so now she has you put that little stabilizer sticks out just a tiny bit. I don't have mine like that, so it's okay. The other one turned out fine. So I'm just gonna baste everything, clean my spot. Can you guys see okay? I feel like the light's not quite hitting where it needs to be. And the secret to top stitching with piping is to really use your nail and kind of get into it and pull. When you're doing a curve, just take it one stitch at a time. Don't get too crazy on the foot there. You're like going 50 miles an hour over a curve that's supposed to go 5, you know? I was gonna make this bag from one of the fabric choices that we had for the workshop, but then I was like, I don't know which one to choose because I like them all. I was like, I like them all. And besides, like, it just surprised me. And I'm like, I have to make a decision for you? Oh, goodness. Right? Look at that. That is so cool. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I need, yeah, you do. You do, you do, you do. Okay, so I've got that. So now let's set that to the side, and now it's talking about the adjustable strap assembly. So the way they do their adjustable strap is like with this coordinating color. Let me show you what it is all like, what it looks like, because I'm not doing that on the video today. I'm just doing a regular webbing. But you see how it has like an accent color and then another color, and that so pretty. So we're going to do that for the workshop for sure. But I just, for time's sake, I'm not doing that on the video today, but it's very similar to what we do with the gusset piece. But we're not doing that on the gusset piece either, because I just wanted to do a quick video with you guys to show you guys all the lovely things we're doing. Okay. So as I finish with the pattern piece, I like to put it in my little manila envelope. So hopefully I don't lose pieces. Hopefully, because I lose pieces all the time. Alright, so let's make the crossbody strap, since that's the next step it had us do. I'm just doing it with webbing. Just doing it with webbing. I'm not super tall, so I'm not making mine quite as long as they have theirs. What did I do with it? I just had it. I know I just had it. Do you guys see a lighter anywhere? Oh, I see it. I see it. Okay, so here's what I do with my straps with my webbing. I really hold the flame to it, and I'm really making sure it is melting. Like, I see crispy bits to make sure it's like really melted on both ends. If I have a little thing like that, I just kind of trim that off first, and then really just hold the flame to it, and then just slowly go across. Sometimes if I'm feeling like, okay, I really want to make sure this isn't going anywhere, I kind of push the flame a little further down, and it makes it really nice and crispy. All right, so this is what I like to do. I like to do this part first. I go like this, like this, like this, like this. I go like that. All right, and I'm gonna stitch this down. Just doing a box stitch around. If you wanted to just rivet it on, you can. I feel that riveting, making a hole through the webbing is very hard to do and it not fray. So I'm just afraid to do that with the integrity of it. So, okay, so now I have with the pretty side facing down. Okay, pretty side facing down. My fabric's pretty side is facing down. I take one of my lobster claws, put it on. Make sure everything's nice and flat. You want to make sure the lobster claw is facing out, which mine wasn't. Let's see here. Facing out. Okay. All of that's nice. Okay. Then you're going to go through here. So you're gonna like loop it in now. Make sure everything is nice and straight and there's nothing twisted. Just want to make sure nothing's twisted. Come up, down, and then put this down. I like to fold it twice because it is a seatbelt webbing, so it is thinner. But then at the same time, it's slippery. So I don't want it to be too thin. I want to have something to hold on to when it's sewing it. Just going to go like that. Box stitch, just a simple box stitch. Snip all your threads. You can burn them if you need to. Looks pretty good. All right, I got a crossbody strap. Put that to the side. All right, page 13 done. Just because we didn't actually assemble We didn't actually assemble it the way it said to. Sorry, guys. All right, so that was 13, 14. Now we're going to go to page 15, which is the strap connector. Okay, so this is the strap connector. I'm not doing the accent piece or the contrast piece like they asked for, but it looks a lot like the strap that has a contrast, and it goes to the bottom. So just for a reference, this bottom here is what we're making now, and it has the contrast piece be bigger or opposite, doesn't really matter. It'd be a little bit wider than the original one. I'm just making it so that it's just the 1 inch when it's finished. It's a great design, but these are the types of things that's going to make it more domestic friendly as well. Because if you have 4 layers of vinyl or a thick fabric, and then you're having to stitch it on, that's going to make it very bulky. If you have any type of foam or interfacing on your body of the bag or the gusset of the bag, then that's also going to make it thicker. So, you know, I just want to make sure that the materials that I'm using don't have to have an industrial. We are going to have our industrials here for use. So there's some prep work that I couldn't do ahead of time. I guess I could have done this ahead of time. I didn't think about that. I did all my prep work while I was listening to Shinova. I'm a very beginner in limited stores in my area, sell supplies. Can't vinyl be used for sewing bags? No, sweetheart, I can't. Unfortunately, the Cricut vinyl is more like a sticker. So it cannot. But if you want to like start off really simplistic when it comes to vinyls and not be too thick, I think like I don't know if Michaels and stuff like that's having any or not, but there are a couple of online stores that give you good options. I know that the vinyls that I sell on my website are domestic friendly because I use them here on my domestics, and those are the ones we use for our workshops. Okay, so I did that. Now it's telling me to make a mark, and then I'm going to stitch on that mark. To that mark, excuse me. So okay. Now this stitch here is just so that everything kind of looks unison, like together, so that makes it look continuous. Okay, and then I'm just gonna swivel and then hop over to the other side and start again. Because I want mine to look like it's a continuous stitch, I don't want to go across the road. I just want to stay on the sidewalk, is how I pretty much tell myself. And I'm just chain stitching right now. It just helps with time saving as well as saving thread. But it also helps in time. Because many times I have to take it on and off, on and off, and on and off, and then cut and snip, you know. It's a lot of thread and it's a lot of time to do that. Okay, and then when I snip my jump stitch, that's what these are called. These are called jump stitches. I'm going to snip them and then I'm going to burn them. hoping to be done with my live by 12 o'clock so that I can go to lunch with my husband. Got a lunch date. This is my bag. That's what I'm looking at. Just telling you why, because it's mine. Okay. So that's done. Okay, so that's done there. And then now it's telling me to, okay, add double-sided tape. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. Making another mark with this pretty sides touching, I'm sorry, wrong side up. So I'm making this mark onto the wrong side. Okay. Now it's telling me to put my double-sided tape. Okay, so peel that back just a little bit. Okay, take my D-ring, put it there, and then take it and line it up to that mark that you made. And then just, oh, you guys, can you, yeah, you can see that. And then just put it down. I'm just gonna put my double-sided tape back down for a second. Peel this side. And that's another thing you can do, because on this step here, there's a lot of double-sided tape to keep things in place. A lot of domestic machines are not able to do double-sided tape. So what I suggest doing is limit the amount of double-sided tape you're using. Use a Microtex needle and have some alcohol wipes on standby to clean your needle. Okay, so that's there, that's there, that's done. So normally by this part, like you've already put 3 layers of double-sided tape. I'm not doing that. So obviously I'm just doing 1 layer. Okay, so now it's asking me to put the put this on to the exterior gusset piece. So exterior gusset piece. I don't need the pattern piece anymore, so I can put that aside. For the exterior gusset piece, I have done some markings ahead of time to kind of help me navigate and know where I'm doing things. So I'm just holding that there, pinching that just to get a crease mark. There we go. And so that way I'm centering this up right here. I've done my little markings. And this is, I got the pen itself from moremeknow.com, and it's a silver marking pen that just wipes off of leather and vinyls. And I sell the refills on my website. So I don't know what I just did. Okay, so that's there. I'm trying to make sure it's not going too much one way or another. I'm just gonna kind of fold that in on itself a little bit and kind of hold that in place. Stay. Okay. So over here, I want to make sure it's pretty centered and it's not that's what I like about that. I can really put it down, push it down. Good. Okay. Do the same thing to this side. And this double-sided tape I sell on my website. I love this double-sided tape. This is something that I took a very long time to work through with vendors to make sure that I got a double-sided tape that was sticky enough to hold things down. Not too sticky that it gums up your needle when you're just going through one. Yes, we do workshops and classes. And we're in Raleigh, North Carolina. See that poking through there and it's driving me. Oh, bonkers. Come back in. Yeah, so we do all of our classes and so on domestics. But we also have industrials that we've just recently purchased. All right, so now I've got that taped down. Now I'm going to sew. Okay. Start it. I like to hold my threads when I get started. Try to kind of get into that last puncture mark that I just had. And because I'm literally straddling each side of the double-sided tape, so I'm not stitching through the double-sided tape right now. On either one, the one in the middle where I had folded it together and the one that I put down to hold everything down in place. I'm literally stitching just to the outside of that. Okay, now come across. Let's see that there's only one stitch line coming across now. Trying to get my needle back into the same hole. You're in Yadkins? How far is that from me? I've been here for 20 years. It doesn't necessarily mean that I know where anything is other than like the big cities. Just say it. Okay, so I'm gonna go again and I'm gonna try to go back to that hole where I had stopped. Come across the highway. There's streets, there's highways, and there's sidewalks. I do a lot of referencing to driving. I feel like sewing is like driving, personally. All right, I just pulled them to the back so I can burn them from this side, but I already did back stitching. I just made sure to do my back stitching within the actual stitches that I already did so that it's not too visible. So you see that? So you can see how I have stitched it. It looks really nice. It's all about the stitches. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead to the next part, rivets. All right, so it's telling me to put rivets on either side. I'm gonna turn mine to be one more bigger because I like my rivets to be. There we go. Kind of, I like the hand punch so that I can really gauge where it is. I can't quite gauge it so much with the punch itself, but then there's sometimes I can't really get into the area with my hand. Well, so I have to use the punch. But we've got the ones from Mormino, the fun looking rainbow ones. I purchased those for class for the workshop, so we already have those. You love the purple thread. Foothills, maybe an hour and a half from Raleigh. Oh, that's not bad. You can definitely make it out here for like a workshop or something. I've had people come in from like Wilson, Greenville, because they don't have any type of classes or anything like that where around where they are, so they just come. They come this way and take classes. So they'll drive an hour for classes. There we go. I was looking for my rivets. Okay, so here's a tip about rivets. When you're using rivets, you want to make sure that the post is not longer than the material you are going through, not like dramatically longer. So here you can kind of see where it's just poking out just a tiny bit. That's perfect. If it sticks out more than, I'd say, 1/8 of an inch, then you're going to need to add some, like a wash or another thickness through here, just to make sure everything kind of like, make sure that everything works really well. Because if the post is too long, what will happen when you go to snap it, it'll actually twist. And you don't want that, because then it doesn't actually have a straight vertical post anymore. It's like shifted to the side, and then it doesn't hold its structure, and it pops off. So you always want to make sure it's nice straight up and down. If you've got long rivets, just make sure to do. Yeah, I had someone drive in from Atlanta for one of the workshops too. So the workshops, people do travel from all around the United States, but I was talking about more for classes, like the 8-week course and stuff like that. Unless, Miss Tanya, did you have somebody in your class that came in from Chesapeake once a week? Okay, so there we go. All right, so now that's done. Now to the next part. So the next part is putting the piping, and that's where I have these other marks for. Freeman and his wife, that's right. That's right. Yeah, they came up from Chesapeake. That's right. Oh, how time flies. So amazing. All right, so now I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I am start stitching just below that mark. I'm overlapping a little bit so that I can snip off anything that I don't want into the seam after I've stitched it on. I'm just basting it on. And again, I'm just lining it up to the edge and just basting it on with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All I'm doing. I'm pushing it just a little taut so that it doesn't bubble on me. And then I'm going to put my finger where I'm going to stop sewing. Right there. And come off. All right, so you see that? Right? And then that's the little part where I didn't stitch down yet, because I'm going to have that come off to the edge. But first, I need to unstitch a couple of these stitches on the piping, remove the cording from inside. Sometimes it's plastic, sometimes it's like cotton cording. So I'm going to take that and pull it down, snip it, and then when I go to veer it off, see that? It's like not in the seam, it's like off to the side, like that. But just the way it looks when it all finishes together is just amazing. So I'm going to put that there. The answering service is getting the calls right now because Miss Murky is not here and I'm on a live. So hopefully it's nothing too urgent. 90% of the time it's just telemarketers calling, really. Some people calling to want to make appointments for alterations and things, but there we go. Hold that down. I like to clean as I go. Like, I like to make sure it's nice and tidy. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is kind of come over here, just make sure that it's off to the edge so that it's kind of like rounding off. That's what I love about pre-made piping. Some of the vinyl pre-made piping is pretty thick, but you see how you can just, it veers off there. Okay. It does take practice, guys. Piping does take practice, but I promise you, if you get store-bought pre-made piping, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. Okay. This purple and black together. I love this combination. This is going to be my bag for a little while. Look at that. Perfect. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. Exact same thing on the other side. Let me see if I can just do this while I have this here. That might work. There we go. I can do that for sure. The kids are making cozy quilts this week. And they're just really into it. It's really cool to see the creativity. Okay, that one's done. Let's do this one. Okay. Miss Tanya, have you been making anything recently? I think you were working on the math pack or something like that, right? All right, that's done. You'll see how that is just, ooh, that's so pretty. All right, so we've done that. Now we're gonna do the back pocket piece. I'm not doing the piping on the back, exterior back piece. I didn't feel like doing that. I don't really like distinguishing it. I like it to be more like it's hidden. You can't see it. It's hidden, kind of thing. All right, so this one goes with that. These are the inside. Okay, so I need this piece. So the next part you're going to need your back pocket lining piece, your back pocket, lining piece, and you're going to need your back pocket. Okay. So the back pocket lining piece and the pockets, the slip pocket, the interior slip pocket are the same pattern piece. It's just a little bit different, so just read the instructions because it's like two pieces in one. All right. So now for this piece here, we're just going to put these two sides matching. Get that started. Okay. Now, if you had piping, you would have put the piping in between this next layer, not right here, but up here, because this now matches this size. So they just did this so that it would really look like the continuous pocket. So it actually makes it really awesome because then you don't have to worry about it. It makes it look really cool. You don't have to use as much exterior fabric. It makes it thinner, but then it gives you that extra little sophistication to the bag. Right, and that, see that? Pretty. All right, so now we're going to take these two pieces, put pretty sides together. This is where you would put the piping in between here. That's page 24th step in, right? I'm not doing that, so just letting you guys know where you can find it in the instructions, but I'm not doing it. Okay, so now that you've done that, you can trim this back if you would like to. I just like to kind of like butterfly that open a little bit, run my finger through it, like press it open, and then fold it onto itself. It just makes that nice fold right there. Just flip, just to keep all the layers. It just makes it lay flatter when you do that. There's like no mistaking where it goes. Okay. So what I'm doing is just going in, pushing in between the seam, and just making sure everything folds out the way it needs to. Now we're going to top stitch right along that edge. Top stitch length. Everybody has a different length they prefer for a top stitch. You just have to find your calling in that. Like your trademark. Okay, some people like 4, some people like 4.5. I like 5. If I could do a 6, if I can get away with a 6, I would do it, but my machine doesn't go as big as a 6. It only goes to 5. So, okay. So there we are. That's the pocket piece. Okay, so now we're assembling the exterior. So now we're to page 21, exterior. So we're going to take the back piece. So you're going to notice that there's a front flap piece, a front bag piece and a back bag piece. If I can talk today. I'm taking the back piece, the one without the magnet and my name tag. So this one, the plain one. Put that one there. You're gonna take this here, line it up at the sides and so on. This is where I do some clipping and things because we really don't want this shifting. And it's mostly when it's kind of bulky and thick around these sides here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and base that in place. Okay, and then it's telling us to take our front flat piece. Okay, front flat piece. Pretty side touching, the right side touching the body exterior. So you're going to mark out your centers. Try to see here. I thought I had marked it out, but I guess not. So it reads, place the back exterior body right side up. Place the back pocket right side up, aligning the center marks, bottom and the sides. Clip to secure. Center the flap right side touching with the body exterior, aligning the center pieces. Based in place to secure. So, like so. There. That there. That there. Okay. So now I'm just going to stitch along here, base that, and baste around all of this. So all one big baste at this point. Hop on over here. Ooh, don't you move on me. Okay, so sometimes when you get started with kind of thicker things, you have to kind of like really hold it in place if it's not wanting to stay. There we go. Try to get it started there for a second. Okay. Snip my jump stitches. Okay. So that's what we have. See, so the right side, the pretty side is touching the back side, pretty sides. Okay. Place this to the side using the other one. It tells you to put your mark. So your mark for your magnet and your name tag. You did that already, so we can go ahead and skip on to the next page. Okay, so take this, put this one aside. And it's telling us to get our gusset piece. Okay, we're going to want to find our center marks for our gusset piece. Okay, I do have it, it's just not as noticeable. So I'm really trying to notch that out. Okay, because after I did the piping, I couldn't see where my notch was. So I wanted to make sure I saw my notch. There's no, like, one way is right, one way is not kind of thing on this. You just put right sides together. You're going to clip or pin, however you want to say it. Clip, pin, secure, Putting lots of pins, so rather than me digging into my box the whole time. Hey, Jan. I got your text message about the Surger private lesson. You're gonna have to talk to Miss Marquia or put something like if we have private lessons available, you know, while you're here. But I'm not sure because sometimes we don't like to have private lessons while we're getting ready for a workshop. So I don't know. I'll have to get with Miss Marquia on that because she does the schedule. Hello, Miss Shanova. How's the time with your kiddos? Good. All right, so this is just lovely. It is just coming together perfectly with this vinyl. It is, I didn't have to notch into this gusset piece. It says to in the preparations, but I don't like doing it until I come to this part because there's times where I go to do it and then it's overstretching. So this vinyl here without any interfacing already has a nice softness to it, and it's flexible enough. It's not super stretchy, but it is flexible. So I don't like to do my notches too soon, if that makes sense. I'm just working it into that curve. Sometimes it's just taking it and just kind of pulling it, putting your finger there and just popping it out. It's a 3-dimension. It's a curve. So you're not gonna, there we go. Oh, that is so pretty. Look at that. That's gonna look so pretty. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna do a joining stitch. And this is going to be right up against that piping. I'm just trying to see if I really want to get really close and use a zipper foot. I guess I have to. Why? I do want to get really close. So change my foot out. All right, let's change this out. Just like so. If you really want to get close to piping, you need a zipper foot. Okay. Okay. All right. Just bit the bullet because there's 2 steps that need it, so might as well. It wasn't like the flap where the flap I can kind of get away with it because it was only 1 stitch, but this is 2 times. All right, so I know a lot of people have like stilettos and all those other kind of things. I used to use my snips, put the round part down, hold my stuff in place, and just kind of go. So this vinyl is nice and malleable. It's nice and soft, but the only bad thing to that is that it can stretch when you're stitching. So you really need to know your fabric. Right? Know what you're working with, like Missy Elliott says, and get really and know that you're gonna have to like hold things and like I'm holding it and pulling it along until it gets past where I've stitched, and then I readjust. Ooh, my eye is itchy for some reason. Okay. All right. I'm not putting those away because I need them to do the other side. So we're just going to repeat onto the other side. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Look at that. I mean, that's some nice piping. That's some nice work there, girlies. Oh goodness. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can get closer. There's some parts where I can really get closer, but I don't want to because I don't want to go like get on top of the piping, if that makes sense. I could get closer though. Yeah. All right. Let's get closer. If you're gonna do it right. But now I don't need to hold it anymore with that. I can just get really close and really push up against that piping with my zipper foot. Like really push up against that piping. It's a lot of pushing in there, but oh yeah. A lot of stitching. A lot of stitching, but oh, that's nice. Look at that. That's nice. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss, just like my friend Shanova says. All right, so now it's telling you to do the same thing with the other piece. Pretty sides stitching. Okay. I had my center, but I lost it. And I did my layers. What time is it, guys? It's 11:30. I don't know if I'm going to be done by 12. May I get done by 1:30? I have a lunch date with my hubby. The lunch date. I didn't want to get started until I finished listening to Shanova's live because that's like my morning routine. Wake up, go to, make my coffee, take my kiddo, my son over to his camp for the day. Once school starts, that'll be a little different, but hey, and then come here, prep anything that I need to prep for the day, do whatever cutting I need to do, and then listen to Shanova. And most times I'll start sewing while I'm listening to her. But this time I just did all my prep work. So I was like, oh, let me make this and make this while I'm listening. So it worked really well. Well, listen to Shanova's captain's log. Okay. If you've never listened to one of Shanova's captain's logs, you should. She gives you lots of information. If you listen really well, you'll kind of get some information in there about like what's going on in the sewing world, what strike she's doing, all that lovely stuff. The testing bags. She doesn't tell you exactly the name of the people, obviously, because it's still a secret, but she just let you know she's working on something. Mr. Bobbin, are you giving me troubles? Are you gonna play chicken with me today? I think the bobbin's playing chicken with me today. Not today. I got really close on this one. I don't know if I'm gonna need to come back in a second time on this one, because this one I got really close to. Snip your threads. Snip the threads. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Around the curves, I may need to, but I think everywhere else I did really good about like getting really good in there, but it doesn't hurt to go around again. Yeah, the curves definitely got a little bit looser than I wanted to. So it's a good thing I'm coming back in. The straightaways are pretty tight. So pretty. I could just, ooh. You want to see it? You want to see it? All right. Give me a quick second. I'm going to turn the bag right side out. Make sure everything looks good before I trim it up. Oh, this is nice. Oh yeah, I got really good and tight on all the curves by going in that second time. So it looks good. It looks really good. And I don't even feel like I need to like take out my it looks good. And it's standing on its own, so I'm just going to take this and put it aside. All right, so we're gonna go now, and we're just going to go right into the lining pieces. It has a zipper pocket in the lining. Oh, I lost one. And because I'm done with typing, I can go ahead and switch back out to my regular narrowed foot. Okay. Okay, so we've done that, done that, done that. I'm gonna have to recover some clips from the floor later. All right. Let me turn my iron on. Leave all this stuff over here. There. Okay. I just turned my iron on so that way I can press this open once I finish. So now we're doing page number 25 where we're making the pocket, the zipper pocket. Okay, so now I've gone ahead and done my parallel lines. She has that you can do like this piece of like interfacing around it, kind of like craft text or something like that. I'm not doing that. I'm using waterproof canvas. It's pretty sturdy without it, so I don't have to have it. But if you're using a quilted cotton, I do suggest you do follow that instructions. Follow those instructions in regards to the craft text around this area here. Okay. So gone in there really good, and you want to make sure you have nice long triangles. Okay, cut down the middle, and I'm going to take it, I like to finger press it this way, finger press it this way, and then I'm going to iron it on the right side. So not the wrong side of the waterproof canvas, but the right side of the waterproof canvas. If you have some steam, steam definitely helps because it helps it to be a little bit more pliable, softer. Just be careful not to hit the plastically part of your iron, just of the back the iron onto the plastically part of the waterproof canvas. There's different types. This is Ottertex waterproof canvas where it has like a plastic coating on the back of it. The waterproof canvas that I sell on my website that's not in the roll, so the printed ones, the printed waterproof canvas, it has something like it has like a finish on it that makes it waterproof, but it's very light and you can press it. There's no problem whatsoever. All right, so I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna make sure. Look at that. Oh, that's so pretty, 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 pretty. All right, so we got that. Now we're gonna get our zipper. I like to use a nice long zipper. Put my tape down on my zipper. I'm gonna need to put some tape on this right here because it's not wanting to stay down. This is all out of the seam allowance, guys. You can use double-sided tape. This just means you have to just be mindful of where you're putting it. See, that just helps it just stay. Like, sit, put. this 1/8 inch zip double-sided tape was a huge help when I made my son's book bag yesterday, because it had a lot of curves to it with the zippers. Perfect. I didn't have to snip into my zipper at all. It laid beautifully. I was so happy. Really, I was. Kind of line it up with the zipper pull out of the way. Okay. It just helps that I lay it down flat, and then I'll pull it in. Okay. Turn off my iron. That's about the only thing I use my iron for. That part. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and do top stitch length. Put that back there. Okay, now we're going to sew all the way around the zipper. We just want to make sure we're securing the zipper to the lining piece. There's some really fun ways to do this with like lining pieces, even with like a facing and stuff like that. Are you reversing with the pedal, with the machine too? No, the reverser's a button. So this is a computerized machine, and I have this fancy little button right here in the front of my machine, and I could either use that little button or I could use the little toggle on the side, like you would when it was manual. So it just makes it easier because I don't have to move my hand as much, because it's right there. Because it's right in the front, right in this area. It makes it so easy. All right, so there's my zipper. And trim that down. Trim that down. Okay, so this is why you want to have those things out. The little triangles, really pull them out. When you stitch the back of the other piece to the pocket piece, it just keeps everything out of the way. All right, so now we're going to get our back side of our pocket piece. This bag is bound. No, it's not. It's birthed. I don't know why I said that. Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not. The other bag I did was bound. Not this one. Okay, so because this one is birthed, I'm going to go ahead and push that up, leaving that open. So then that way I can go like this and go all around like a U shape. I don't know if that's in the pattern. She does her pocket a little different, where she's like flipping it up and back and forth. I like this method better, but you could definitely follow the directions. But it's like literally like 5 or 6 different steps and like 3 different pages. I'm just used to doing it this way. So okay. And you just pull this back out of the way and just put everything together. Pull this to the back. I'm catching those little triangles. getting close. Getting close, guys. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm going to make it with this bobbin or not. I have like another bobbin like halfway full over there. But the thing is I want to use that for my top stitching. So if I run out of bobbin now, it's okay because I can just bobbin dump at this point. Which is just use whatever I have on hand. I like to snip really close to that curve and it helps release it. I don't know if that kind of makes it defeats the purpose of folding it up, but hey. I'm gonna go like that. Okay. All right. Make sure your zipper is open, so when you go to birth it, it's open. I'm gonna flip this up out of the way because it has us do our pocket piece on this side as well. So because I'm using a waterproof canvas, I am not I'm not doing 2 layers like you would do with the cotton. With the cotton, you would have this on the fold, leave a hole, turn it inside out, follow the directions on page 23. But because this is waterproof canvas and it is a non-fraying edge, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm just going to fold it down and do like a little bit of a almost like it's a hem, just folding it up, making a little bit of a hem at the top. Okay, double-sided tape is 1/8 of an inch. It's right on the edge. I folded this down by 1/4 of an inch, so then that way when I sew at an 1/8 of an inch on this side, I'm not sewing through my double-sided tape. It just is an extra tool to make things easier for you. Because I could have pressed that down with my iron and had blisters all over my fingers. But I didn't want to do that. All right, so now I'm going to take this fold in half. Really make sure to do a crease mark on there. Right, I can take my chalk, so the silver marking pen does not come off of waterproof canvas. Do not mark it with waterproof canvas because it will not come off. Chalk will come off. So just literally a piece of chalk from the dollar store. Oh, okay, so you have it on your domestic, but not your, yeah. Some of them are like that, so it just depends on what you have, right? Okay, so I'm going to take that, I'm going to clip that in place. I'm making sure I'm moving my pocket completely out of the way. Making sure my pocket's out of the way. So my pocket is up and out of the way. I'm going to stitch down, up, back, and around again, okay? Make it into a 2-compartment pocket piece. One day I'll have to do a cargo pocket on this because I love me some cargo pockets. Is what was left on my bobbin. See that? I won bobbin chicken. Just because I won bobbin chicken, I'm getting chicken for lunch. so that that's done. Okay, so now we're pretty much done. Like, this is the last piece. This is the last piece. Putting that away. Now we're doing the exact same thing to the lining pieces that we did for the exterior. So what that means is I'm going to take this gusset piece, snip my mark. I think I already did it, but I can't, like I said, I can't really see it. Okay, so just like that. Right. And just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to do the lining piece that doesn't have any, the lining piece that doesn't have anything attached to it as my first piece. Just to be simple. Start it simple and then go from there. All right, so I'm gonna go this direction. There is a line on the pattern piece. You have to pay attention to that line because it's just a little bit smaller. And that's just, I think that's just to really make it nice and tight. So this one you may have to snip because there's not much give. There's not much give with waterproof canvas. So I'm probably gonna have to do some snipping there, but I'm okay with that. But I don't snip until I'm actually sewing. So I line everything else up, line all my straight edges, line up as much as I can into that curve, and then I'm gonna snip into here. And then I'll do my snipping as I sew. Watch. Okay, same thing with this thingy. I'm gonna hold it. Oh, hello. I have no bobbin. Bobbin dumping at this point. Did you see me sew without a bobbin? Did you see me do that? It happens. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna do my snips. And it's like about every 1/4 of an inch is where you're going to want to snip until you get to this next piece here. Now, this is also the lining. So with the lining, if I get a pucker or two, I'm not so worried about it, guys. Okay, I'm just not that worried about it. Okay. Hold it, pull it. Hold it, pull it, pinch it. Hold it, pull it, pinch it. There we go. Hold it, pull it, pinch it. Okay. That's crazy. I got no puckers. Only on camera. Only on camera. That's all I can say. If I was not live, I'd be getting so many puckers in the lining. I was like, what? I'm done. I'm like, yeah. Walk it away. Walk it away. Well, sweetheart, I'm like 20, maybe 30 minutes. Almost done. I say that because sometimes he's on the lives. And then he's on live, so he'll be like listening in. But the good thing is, like, Angie's restaurant, which is where we, not Surrey, where we have lunch is not that far. From where I am. There we go. Got a little tiny pecker. I mean, it is tiny. That's all right. Done. Lining done. So with the lining, I will be trimming down my lining. Do all the straight pieces, and then I'll come back in with the zigzag stitchers. Yeah, they're stitchers to do the curves. Actually, I don't need to because I've already cut into them, so hello, I've already snipped. It doesn't have to do that. Hello, how you doing? There. Take up all of this. Trash can. Close. Put it right in there. Okay. So there's that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm taking the exterior of the body. So my finished exterior. Where you at? Improve that part. Okay, exterior part of the body. I like to put the zipper pocket and stuff like that against my body. So that's going to be this part. So I'm going to line those two pieces up. And I'm going to put the exterior right side out into the lining with wrong side out. So that means pretty sides are now touching. I'm going to line up my sides, clip it, line up my sides, and clip it. I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm also going to make sure my centers are lined up, but I like to do my seams first, my side seams first. this is nice. It's nice when it's nice and tight. There's not much wiggle room to it. I mean, it's nice and tight. See that? I like it when it's nice and tight. Because in that way, it has less sagging. You know, like a good bra. I don't know why I come up with this stuff. I don't know. My husband's like, he shakes his head at me. That's all he does. He doesn't laugh at any of my jokes. He just shakes his head at me. Right, my love? That's right. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and stitch this down. Using a joining stitch. You do not need a cylinder arm for this, guys. You just need to be okay with making your bag squish a little bit. Just, it's okay. If you have a domestic and you take off the front piece and make it into a free arm, then it's good and you're good. Okay. I do not trim my top. I like to have a little bit of a lip to kind of give it something to hang on to when I do it. So now we're going to turn this bad boy out through the zipper pocket. So I grabbed it, I'm pulling it out. If it were easy, it wouldn't be called birthing. This bag can definitely be bound, but it is all dependent on the materials you're using, the interfacing you're using, the bulk of the fabric that you have to turn right side out. So there we go. Before I do anything, I want to make sure, yeah, okay, good. I was like making sure my flat went the right direction. Turn this inside. I like to do all of my top stitching before I close up the pocket, which is why I'm notorious for sometimes sending out bags. Right, Miss Tanya? That's why I'm notorious for sometimes sending bags out with the zipper pocket open. So Miss Mordecai is my quality control. She goes through and makes sure that all my pockets are closed up. Epic. I mean, come on now. Just a little bit of the silver marking pen. Look at that. Guys. Guys. Oh, yes. I'm loving it too. I'm like, what? And then a little bit of green, like peekaboo. It's like, boop, I see you. Look at that. Oh, guys. Oh, goodness. Oh, this is going to be so epic. Okay, now for top stitching. Okay, really work out that fold and just use your hands to just kind of twist it. Make sure it's lining up nice and pretty. Pretty. Flip this over because now I'm gonna actually stitch. This direction. All right, so let me go ahead and put in my purple bobbin that I saved just for my top stitching. Here are some tips for top stitching. Get yourself what I call a hump jumper or an extra piece of something that you could just kind of like double it up and quadruple it up, however you need to make sure you're really adjusting your height of your presser foot to accommodate for the bulkiness of your bag in different seams. So I like to start where no one's really going to see my start and stop stitches. So normally it would be the back of the bag, but because the flap covers the front, I'm going to actually start in the front. So I'm going to flip it down, pull this back, okay? You don't need a cylinder arm, guys. Just pull it back, okay? You're the boss, okay? Do not backstitch. I don't backstitch. I pull my threads through for this part. All right, I want to make sure everything's nice and flat as I'm going. Take your time top stitching. I'm doing it 1/8 of an inch from the top edge. Okay, make sure my D-ring is down. So this is where it starts getting a little bit like, you just have to manhandle it. I'm coming up to that side seam where all the bulk is. I'm getting my little hump jumper ready. When I get close to it, then I'm going to put the bulk behind the foot so that now it's sitting straight rather than going like this. It's not going uphill anymore. It's now flat. Go straight down. Go to the next seam. Again, it's up at an angle. I'm gonna make sure your needle stays down. Needle stays down. Okay. I pushed too hard and my needle came up. That's okay, I fixed it. Come up to the front and just keep moving it. Oh. I almost messed up. See how I folded this down and started stitching? You don't want to do that. You want the flap to be out. It's a good, and I showed you guys. Okay, you want it to be out. Like so. You want it to be out, so like this. Okay, pull this guy in. Well, I can't right now. Okay. So you want the flap to be out to the right. You need to stitch that right there. Make it closer. I'm going to backstitch there just because I had to stop in the middle. I'm really going to make sure I'm pushing on this straight. So if you're not used to it, then start with the strap piece, because that way you don't forget to do it like I did. Again, hump jumper, coming to that seam on that side where it's just bulky. Okay. Just a second. All right, I'm almost done. Pull that top stitch out so you can, I already did. Hello. All right. I'm almost done, baby girl. Yeah, baby girl. I don't know who that is. Huh? I have no idea. Someone walked in, she's like, you know who that is? I'm like, I have no idea who that is. All right. All right, trim off my threads. Pull this one to the front, like so. Tie them off and then singe them. If you can't, you want to get fancy and thread the needle and put it back into the thing, you can do that too. I'm not doing that. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go like that. Snip it and then singe it. And then I'll be ready to go for my lunch date with my hubby. All right. Done, guys. There we go. So we pull this in. Just like that, we get our crossbody strap. Just like that. Okay. All right, guys, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Let me pull this up. There we go. Okay. Catch on a magnet. All right, guys. That's how it looks. Is it pretty? Awesome. It looks good, doesn't it? Awesome. I know it does. All right, guys. Thank you so much for staying on this live with me. It's exactly 2 hours. Yay, I'm getting better at it. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share it with your friends. If you haven't made this pattern, it is the Adam Crossbody Bag by KM Design Patterns Co. I put the link in the description box below. All of the hardware, vinyl, waterproof canvas, webbing, everything else is from my website, which is garnersewingroom.com. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. All right, I'm off to my lunch date. Bye.